Hello dear students, I am posting for you a short video on Shashi Deshpande's style of writing. Now we all know that Shashi Deshpande is one of the prominent voices in the Indian canon of writing in English, and she started writing in towards the late 1980s, and her first published novel was The Dark That Holds No Terrors. She has written 7 novels, and they are The Dark That Holds No Terrors, That Long Silence, The Binding Vine, Roots and Shadows, Moving On, Small Remedies, and so on. And her novel That Long Silence, published in the year 1989, brought her the Sahitya Academy, the most coveted literary award in Indian literature. In Shashi Deshpande's writings, we see basically a woman who comes from upper middle class educated families, and her interior space or her inner psyche is mostly defined by Shashi Deshpande through her writings. Now in the story The Intrusion, we also come to see a woman's inner psyche, her interior monologue within herself. In this story Intrusion, we see how a young woman and her husband, they visit a beach hotel near a sea resort, and they are not in terms with one another in that beautiful ambience, because the woman, she is apprehensive, she is intimidated of coming in terms to a person who is a stranger to her, although they are bound together in a marital relationship. And in this story, in a very delicate and in a very subtle manner, Shashi Deshpande deals with the much controversial theme of marital rape, where certain legal issues or certain emotional issues are very delicately introduced and described. Here in this story, both the characters don't hold any name, because by taking away the nomenclature of these characters, Shashi Deshpande tries to bring in a sort of generalization to the entire idea of a newly married couple, and that's why the story has a universal strain. Now the story begins very beautifully with the description of a seaside village, the beauty of the village, the sights and sounds are very well presented in her artistic and stylistic manner, and yet she cannot find herself in terms with this beauty of this place, because she cannot run around and have fun like a small girl. Now this boundary between being a girl and being a woman is very well defined in this story, and that's why a proper womanly behavior of gentility is something which the newly married woman is finding hard to come in terms with, and more especially because she is highly educated, a convent educated woman, and her education was manipulated by her family and surroundings, not in order to give her a professional height, but rather to get her someone with whom she can have a settled life. And certain dialogues in the story show it that her education was judged by her the members of her new family in terms of her capacity for inculcating or for entertaining her husband's professional endeavors. So in this story we see that this woman, she is under a very complex situation between her new life and between the exploration of her new mind, where she is finding it hard to come in terms of her inner growth, and that's why there is a sort of suffocation, and this suffocation comes out as writing in this story. So in most of Shashi Deshpande's other novels, we see that the central character is a writer. Of course, in Intrusion, we don't have so much of time to get into details of character analysis because it is a short story and it ends abruptly, and it gives or it leaves the reader with an open-endedness as to we don't know what will happen next in the story. Maybe the woman will come to terms with her own life, maybe she will